So this is my first YouTube video. I've really been feeling a pressing by the Lord to come on and share some of the things that I've been given the last few months and more recently. And so when I started feeling that in my spirit, I felt like I should really act on it. This first video is going to be about a dream that I had last fall, and I'm going to follow it up with another video that is about two visions that I had back to back on the same night that actually relate to this dream. So I figured I would post this video first to kind of give it some background, and then you'll understand the video to come second a little bit better. So the dream I had was that I was in a muddy farm yard, and I was laying down in the rain, in the mud, and I had a cage over top of me, and I was really tired, and I was really wanting to go to sleep, and I felt like, oh, this is a good, safe place, this cage over top of me in this muddy farmyard. So I started to go to sleep, and I woke up, and I realized that there was a huge, gigantic, brown grizzly bear with its jaws open, trying to reach under the edges of the cage. And I looked, and I noticed that the bottom of the cage had a 6-inch gap, and the bear was going to get me if I stayed where I was. So I just said, I was terrified. I knew the bear would kill me if I stayed where I was. So I got up, and the scenery immediately changed to like a living room, sort of, and I'm looking at a desk. And on the desk is a book, and the book is a plain, dark colored leather cover, and it says Ronald Reagan and the World. And on the cover is a dancing Uncle Sam. It's the strangest thing. And in the background is this really, really horrible, loud, like hard rock, heavy metal song. And it was just so loud, and I thought, oh my gosh, I can't take this. So I went inside the house. The living room was sort of like on the outside of the house, sort of a strange, it's hard to describe, but I opened a door, and I went inside away from the music and closed the door. And as I looked around, I noticed it was like a bedroom, and it was well furnished, it was beautiful, it was luxurious, and the music was much, much quieter. I could hear it in the distance, but I knew it was outside of the room, and it was nothing. The bear couldn't hurt me in there, and the music that I was hearing, that was really loud rock music, was much, much quieter then. So then I had closed the door, and I locked the bedroom door. And then there was another door to the bedroom, and I opened it to see what was happening outside in the world. So to the other door to the bedroom, the second door to the bedroom, I opened up, and I looked, and I saw another huge, gigantic cage with metal bars. And inside the cage were two small brown bears. They were the cubs of this large brown bear that had tried to eat me and kill me. And they were playing inside this cage, and I thought, that's not where they belong. That's not where they're supposed to be. Why are they there? And then a spotlight shone on them, and I realized, and I said, oh good, the polar bear is coming back. That's his cage. That's where he's supposed to be. Those little bears had better get out of there, because the great white polar bear is coming back. So that was the end of my dream. To give it a little bit of explanation, I believe this dream is about war with Russia. I think the giant, great brown bear is actually a symbol of war. The rock song I heard was actually, I actually stumbled upon it through another dream that I had and heard it. It's actually the Devil Dog song. It's a warrior song by the Marines. It's quite horrible to listen to. It's very bloody, very violent song. I would pray the blood of Jesus before you listen to it. If you do decide to go listen to the warrior song, it's a very, very violent song about killing and bloodshed and mentions the devil dogs and all kinds of stuff. So, I mean, it may be something you've heard before, but if you're not used to that kind of music, it was pretty upsetting for me to hear it. And I recognized it immediately as a song from my dream, which I had never heard this song before. The book that I saw was Ronald Reagan and the World. There actually is a book that is called Ronald Reagan and the World. If you look it up on Amazon, and it talks about the United States and Russian relationship, and the basically world politics, and also how America is basically imperialistic, and the powers that be have plans for the world that the little people aren't aware of. So I felt that was symbolic as well. It sort of reinforced the whole idea of war. The Marine song, War, Russia, the bear sort of confirmed it. And then the second part, the moving from the farmyard into the living room, into the indoor sheltered bedroom, I really feel is symbolic of a rapture that will happen around the time of this war, this great war that we're going to have with Russia. And opening the door and looking out on the world and seeing the two small cubs. I'm not sure what the two small cubs could possibly be. Possibly they may be two small countries that are allied with, they're allies with Russia, that are working with them, but they were in a cage where they didn't belong, which means perhaps two countries will invade the United States, or possibly two countries will work with Russia to attack America. I'm not really quite sure, but these two brown bears were the cubs of the great bear that represented Russia. And the great white polar bear, of course, was Jesus Christ returning to earth to establish his dominion, his throne. I believe the cage represents the throne of the world, and the dominion of Jesus Christ over his world when he will come back, and he will establish his kingdom and rule for 1,000 years, and he will take back control of the world and reign for his 1,000-year reign. So I just wanted to share this. I know it's kind of a long dream. It was pretty inspiring to find over a period of months how everything tied together. And in my next video, I'll talk a little bit more about this polar bear, and I had a waking vision of the polar bear, and it kind of goes back to this dream as well. So God bless you. I hope that this dream, doesn't frighten you, but I think that it's important to know that God works on many levels, and he communicates with his servants, and he doesn't do anything without letting us know. And whatever happens, it is part of his plan. We are protected as believers in Jesus Christ. But there is an ark. I truly believe that if you know God, you know that he is loving and will protect his children, and he will not let anything bad happen to you. So if you don't know Jesus Christ, I would say, pray that he would let him into your heart, and he will show you and teach you his ways. All right, God bless.